Hey guys, this is Alexandra from iloveknots.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a frilly flower. That's what I call it on my blog, and I use them to mostly embellish wreaths, but I also use them to create my wedding bouquet. They are perfect for doing so many different things, but we're going to use it as an applique. I'm going to be using worsted weight yarn. This is Red Heart Super Saver. The color is called Tea Leaf. It's beautiful, bright green. I'm also using an H8 5mm crochet hook. This is the hook I like to use with Red Heart Super Saver. You can use any size yarn to create these, but it will just make the flower bigger or smaller, but that's also easy to change by adding more chains. Whatever yarn you use a crochet hook that is respective to that. You can make these flowers in any size. It's so easy. My go-tos are chain 39, chain 59, and chain 79. Those are the size flowers that I use. I like the variety. I'm going to show you on a chain 39 flower. What it's going to create is a spiral like this. And we are going to then roll this up and create a flower with it. Before we get to that though, I am going to show you how to create that. So I have my tail end here. I'm going to create a slip knot by wrapping the yarn coming from the skein around my finger, my index finger twice. I'm going to hold it with my thumb and my middle finger. I'm going to take the yarn that's behind it, pull it up over the first loop, but not off my finger. Then I'm going to take the new yarn that's behind up over the first one and off my finger, and it creates a loop right in there. I'm going to insert my hook in there. The tail end is on the right side, the working yarn is on the left, and I'm going to just pull it tight. And now I have a secure loop on my hook. That is a slip knot. As I mentioned, we're going to chain 39 to begin. To chain, we're going to yarn over, pull that loop through the loop that's on the hook. So we have 1. Yarn over, pull through, 2. We want 39 or whatever number you'd like. There is 39 chains. We are going to skip the first 4 chains. We don't count this one on the crochet hook. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. We're skipping. We're going to insert our hook into the 5th chain. Just insert it through, yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through to complete a single crochet. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right into the next chain that's on the foundation you made. Create another single crochet. And now we have 2 loops here. That's what we want. Chain 4. Single crochet into the next chain on the foundation, and it's going to keep making loops and wrapping around. And it's going to be a complete mess, but it's going to be absolutely beautiful when we wrap it up and create a flower with it. You're going to continue working that way all the way until you get to the last one, and you're going to do it all the way through that stitch. I've just worked the last single crochet. Now I am going to fasten off with a long tail for sewing. I am going to pull the loop up that my hook is attached to, and I'm just going to keep pulling to break the loop. So there, I broke the loop. The stitch is no longer going to come out of there, and we're ready to start. First thing I'm going to do is weave in my beginning tail end. I don't need that in this process. I just like to weave it in now, get it out of the way. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult than you're probably used to weave in, because you don't have a lot of surface area to work with here. So just patiently weave in and out of the backs of the chains that are existing. I just go back and forth a few times. Then I go back in the other way. And now I'm going to go right through the center, back up, working through those stitches now that I've created kind of like a bulky edge there. And that's my third pass. And now I'm confident with that. I'm going to fasten that off. I'm going to take the long tail end and thread that through my tapestry needle. And I'm going to put it on the side for a minute, because I need to start wrapping this up, and then I can go ahead and sew it. So you're going to find, this is the tail end that has the tapestry needle attached. You want the other end, the very beginning of the other end, and this is going to be the center of your flower. So you're just going to roll it up, you're going to lay it. The entire flower is going to be built by laying the fabric down along this foundation chain edging. So I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to just lay it right on top of that chain edge. I'm going to hold it in my hand so it doesn't go anywhere, and I'm going to twist my fabric that's in my right hand and just roll it and lay this edging of the flower. I'm going to lay that on the edge of the chains. Now I'm going to put my thumb on there so it doesn't go anywhere again, and I'm going to continue that process. I'm just going to take my right hand and roll it down, and I want to line up this frilly edge, this lacy edge right here underneath my thumb. I want to line that up with the chain, with the foundation chain edge on the left side. And as soon as I lay it right on top, I'm going to secure it, move my right hand, and keep rolling. And the whole entire thing, the lacy edges on the right line up right on top of the foundation chain edge on the left. And this is going to create a bigger flower. The further in you go, the less wide your flower is. I want my flower to be wide. I want all those petals to be seen. And now I'm back to the beginning. That's my last piece right there that has the tapestry needle yarn attached. I'm going to tuck that in the same exact way, and now I have a little flower. You might ask why I'm doing green. I'm doing something for St. Patrick's Day, and I'm using these green flowers. But your flower can be whatever color you want, of course. Now I'm holding this carefully in shape with my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand, put it on top, and I'm going to carefully turn it over so that I don't displace any of the work that I just did. And from the wrong side, it's a little bit hard to see, but you should see a spiral going down. Here's the spiral edge, and it just goes in and in. That's what we want to see. We want to see that all separated out. I'm going to take my tapestry needle now, and I'm going to show you real quick. Here's what the end looks like. I'm going to go through that foundation chain that my yarn is coming out of, but I'm going to do it when it's on top of all the other layers. And that's just the first stitch I'm going to insert into. Now I'm going to insert into all this into the foundation chain edge, the one that you laid the right side of the flower onto the foundation chain. That's what creates this spiral. That's the foundation chain. And that's the line we want to follow. We want to insert our needle through that edging all the way until we get to the middle. You see I'm in the middle now? I've just followed that edging all the way across, and I want to continue all the way to the other side, working just through that bottom foundation chain edging, catching all of those layers, and push it through. Don't pull too tight because you don't want that to bunch up. You want it to continue to lay flat. So if it tightens, just loosen it a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to carefully turn my flower completely around so that now the yarn that I just finished weaving in is right next to my thumb on the bottom. And I'm going to go right into the next stitch that's right next to it. And I'm going to do it the same exact way. I'm going to insert it underneath that edging all the way through to the other side, catching all of the layers in between. And I'm going to pull it through. And then remember, I don't want it too tight, I want it to lay flat. I'm going to carefully turn it again. My yarn right now is at the top, I want it at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go right to the right of it, insert underneath that stitch, and follow the line all the way up. And this is how you're going to continue to work your flower until you've reached the beginning where you started, and all of it is tacked down. How can I tell that I'm getting close to the beginning? Because you're going to see that the space right here in between is going to get smaller and smaller. So I have a little bit more ways to go here. And then I'm going to check it again, and I can see here that I have just one more stitch. There's a little hole there and a little gap here. So one more stitch will close that up. And now that edge is finalized. Turn it over to the beginning and double check that center petal. The very first one that we started. Sometimes when we work all the way through, we don't catch that petal in the very center from the back. So just from the right side, just check it real quick, and if it needs to be tacked down, you're gonna bring your needle, you're gonna weave it under a few stitches here to the center, then you're gonna poke it up through the top. It's a little bit hard to see, but you'll poke it up right through the top, and you'll bring it down right into a stitch there, just to tack it in place so it doesn't move. But mine is good. I'm happy with mine. So all I'm going to do now is just weave in my end. And so I'm just going to go back and forth in the same exact spot 2 or 3 times. Right now it's already got a lot of fabric in there bulked up, and it's catching the yarn pretty good. So if you feel confident with 2 passes, that's totally fine. Just go right back 1 pass in one direction, the second pass in the same exact spot going the opposite direction. So I did my 3 passes. That's my lucky number. That I know I'm completely confident with it. Fasten off the yarn, and I have a little flower done. And so I pulled out a couple of beads. I don't know which one I want to use, but I have these kind of white creamy ones, and I have them in a couple sizes. So I have one that's even smaller, and I have one that's even smaller, and then I also have this yellow. I have the bigger size and I have a smaller size. So these are just glass pearls that I got at Joann's, and I have a huge little tote. I have a huge tote full of beads of these glass pearls in all sizes and colors. And I think that they're absolutely perfect for embellishing right here in the center of this flower if you want to. I'm thinking maybe this white one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it, but you can, if you're not using this for a child's item, like if you're just using it to embellish a wreath, or like I used them to make boutonnieres for my wedding, things like that, then you can just dab a little bit of hot glue right there in the center and you can glue that down. But if you're using this for a child's item, you definitely want to sew it with needle and thread to make sure it is secure and not going to come loose. I'm just playing around here, but there's like so many ideas, combinations that you could do with little beads right there in the center. And if you don't like any of them, I kind of like it plain. I thought I would like it with this right here in the center, with this white one, but I think it takes away from the look that I'm going for. I'm not really sure yet, but I wanted to show you what it's going to be like. Here's my wreath, my crocheted wreath, and my little flower is just going to go right on there. I'm going to have a couple different colors. I have varieties of green, so I have this tea leaf that I just showed you. I have this darker green called the jelly bean green, I think. Actually, no, this one is called patty green. I'm getting my brands mixed up. And then I'm not sure what this darker color is. It's like a pine. I'm not sure what the color is called. They're all Red Heart Super Saver. I'm going to make a variety of these little flowers, and I'm just going to put them around my wreath. Still not sure if I'm going to add the bead or not. Maybe I'll add it on a couple. I'm not sure. But that's my plan for using these flowers. These flowers, you can use them to make headbands. You can use them to embellish cards. You could sew them onto a dress. You could sew it onto a hat. I glued these to, I bought some fake flowers at Joann's for my wedding. I bought the fake flowers. I took the flower off and I glued this in place of the flower, and that's how I made my bouquet. I also used these for the boutonnieres, where I just glued it onto a leaf and then onto a pin, so that it could be pinned onto the gentleman's tuxes. I also used this flower to make corsages for the ladies. I cut an elastic for the wrist, and I just had a couple small flowers. They were even smaller than this. I had 3 in my colors and 1 leaf. I also used these in my wedding to hold the rings. I made a larger one and I glued it into a little jewelry box, and the rings just sat right on top. There are so many possibilities for this flower. Let me know in the comments below what you would use yours for, or if you'd like to see a specific project made with it, and I will show you how to do it. The written pattern can be found on my blog, iloveknots.com. I will put that in the description below. Please subscribe to my brand new YouTube channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see, and I will work on adding those to my YouTube channel.